Transformation of the Litera product ecosystem. My name is Sherry Kappel. I'm an evangelist here at Litera, and I am so excited for our programming that we'll be sharing with you today. Before we do anything and jump into our presentation, just a little reminder, and that is, if we can advance to the next slide, that our session today is confidential. It's confidential to the Litera customer community. So while we encourage you to share what you learned here today with your colleagues in your own organization, do not share it outside of your organization. We thank you. Let's start with a little bit of housekeeping. All of our participants are muted. Our session is scheduled to last about an hour long, and that includes all of our question and answer, which is a big reminder and invitation, please. Type your questions into the Q&A option. You should all see this at the top of your menu bar of the Teams event. Type all of your questions in. What will happen is we will answer all that we can during this session, and those things that we can't answer, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and send that in an email with the responses to the address you registered for today. Also know that the webinar is being recorded and is also going to be sent to you via email. So with that, let's begin with our agenda. So it was about a year ago, actually, that Litera accepted ILTA's invitation to us to become a strategic business partner. This webinar today is part of a series. It represents one of several commitments that Litera has made to that partnership, the delivery of expanded, timely, and proactive communication to this community. We have designed this programming based on your feedback. This last month, in fact, we brought you deep insights about the transformation of and our commitment to improve the overall customer experience with Litera. It was presented by our Chief Customer Officer, Chris Ariano. Today, our agenda allows us to go a bit deeper into the kind of corollary to that, which are our product priorities, how we communicate product updates, how you can get or stay involved with the feedback sharing about our products, and prioritization. So before I introduce our next speaker, again, since I saw some of you coming in just beyond the housekeeping, I really want to encourage you to submit your questions, because we will get back to you with those answers if we can't cover them today. So without any further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce Meredith Johnson, our Chief Product Officer. Meredith, thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much for that introduction. Hi, everyone. First, I just want to say thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here and to be part of the Litera executive team. I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary with Litera, but for more than 25 years, I'm sure as many of you know and have experienced, Litera has been at the forefront of the legal technology innovation world, expanding impact and potential of what legal professionals can do and accomplish using industry-leading tools by some of the most experienced people and minds in the industry. Our products continue to transform the way lawyers perfect documents, run deals, and manage cases. And so I'm really honored to be part of this team. It's been a great year so far. And again, I'm really thankful to be here with you all in this community to give an update today about what we're doing at Litera in terms of product transformation. Now, before we get started, I'd love to share just a little bit about myself. I live in the southeast of the United States in Charleston, South Carolina. And, I see myself when I look back at my career as a reformer and love just everything that the technology industry has to offer so many of us. And so just to give you a little bit of a background, I spent about 20 years in technology, most recently at a $1 billion SaaS software company that serves the social goods sector. And my specialties are really in customer experience. I think we're all in customer experience, whether you're in product or sales or in roles like Chris Ariano. And I'm really passionate about data-driven growth and adoption, both for all of our users and customers, but also for the companies where I've been. I'm very interested at home and at work in leadership and coaching, and I'm really inspired by work that is centered around business development, outcome orientation, and of course, as a CPO, it would be weird if I didn't say my strengths and my interests lie in product vision, offer strategy, and business development. At home, I am a mother and a wife to two, or a mother to two beautiful daughters. They're 12 and 14. So I'm right in that crucible with a lot of my colleagues in trying to raise good humans. And we love just spending time together as a family. And that's one of the rewards too about being at Litera. We've got a really great culture of lots of diverse people around the globe that are very connected not only to the work that we do and to the legal profession, but to everybody that they surround themselves with in terms of professional teams and family and community. And it's been really rewarding this last year to find a home here and to do great work with all of my colleagues at Litera. So again, I want to say thank you for having me here today, and I'm eager to begin sharing with you Litera's portfolio journey and the transformation that we are going through. And I always like to start conversations with Litera's purpose. At Litera, we believe in the legal profession. We're really passionate about it. And we're here with our solutions ultimately to amplify our customers' impact across their firm, their talent, all the people that work in all of their functions, and most importantly, for their clients. We really do try to keep that at the heart of everything we're doing. And we believe and we love and we respect this sector. And we have a deep commitment to three things: optimizing the customer experience, delivering on product, and enhancing and being purposeful about our M&A and integrations. You know, and as Sherry noted earlier, we covered with this community how we're transforming our customers' experience. And so today, kind of as the second layer of commitment, I'm going to spend time talking about what does it mean to really deliver on product and what is our promise there. Litera has been working to deepen and broaden and connect our product ecosystem over time to better serve our thousands of customers globally, and I'm eager to share some of that with you all today. The first thing I want to start with, and it's okay, you can jump to that next slide, is what I think is the most important part of leading transformation, which is the team. And we have an incredibly knowledgeable and passionate product leadership team here at Litera, one that I have been so grateful to get to know and to also build. And we're continuing to develop this team, and it's been a key focus of mine for the past few quarters. I've been developing and coaching and also acquiring talent to bring an even more diverse and effective and impactful team together. So I'd love to just take a few minutes to walk through who do we have on the team so you get a sense of, one, the skill and diversity that we've brought together, the deep experience, and also the different roles that make up the leadership team that guide and direct our roadmap. Joey Benedict has experience in both user experience and product management in large B2B software companies like BlackBerry, IBM, and Microsoft. And he oversees products like Kira and Transact and came into the Litera family through the Kira acquisition. Matt Miller, who brings more than 15 years in legal tech experience to our team, heads up and is responsible for our core drafting suite of products. Adam Ryan, who just joined the team in December of last year, heads up our firm intelligence and firm performance suite of products, which we'll look at in a minute. And he was most recently the Chief Legal Innovation Officer at Freshfield. So he adds a wealth of practical legal workflow and technology experience to our team, which has been very exciting. Greg Coates joined our team this year as our Vice President of AI. We're putting a lot of exciting energy and focus, even more so than we already have in our existing portfolio in this area. And his remit with us is to really make sure that we're organizing and centering all of that energy and efforts into emerging technologies like generative AI and chat. Ryan Walker just joined my team last week. In fact, he's the newest member of the team, and he heads up our pricing and packaging strategy, which is really important because as we begin to continue to bring more and more products into our family and build new offers and capabilities for our customers, it's really important that we are packaging and commercializing them in a way that's simple, ideally friction-free for our customers, and also works for the business. Kinjal joined our team this year as well, and she heads up design, UX, and technical communications. And her team is responsible for ensuring not only modern and usable designs that delight our customers, but also working closely with Chris Ariano's team and others within Litera to drive onboarding and adoption of our products. She's also responsible for all of the technical communications and release notes that our teams publish, again, in an effort to try to get the word out, be more clear about what we've released, why it matters, and to drive that into our customers' hands so that they can have the knowledge, drive the adoption, and get value from the latest releases. And lastly, Lindsay Trulieb joined in October of last year, and she's our Director of Product Operations. And this function's kind of like a Chief of Staff role, if you're not familiar with how R&D teams set up their operational elements. And she ensures that while this leadership team focuses on their individual areas of the business or specialties, that we're working in a cohesive, standard, and best practice ways, leveraging the latest tools and rhythms to stay connected and to be as impactful and purposeful in our efforts. And that's really about increasing predictability within the Litera organization and with our customers. So I'm really excited to just spend a few minutes walking you through who's on this team, because I want you to understand and believe that we've got a really healthy mix of product experts, industry leaders, and practitioners, all coming together to make sure that ultimately we're really understanding pervasive market needs, we're identifying what our customers most would be delighted by, and that ultimately we're prioritizing our roadmaps in a way that's impactful and delivers value to our customers. Now, the leadership team, this leadership team, along with the rest of our global employees and our network, is critical. And why I wanted to spend so much time on it is because we have been through a lot of change at Litera. And when I reflect over the last year, I've gotten a lot of questions and feedback about how much M&A we do, what's it all about, how's it all going to come together. And so I thought I might just walk you through our acquisition history just at a very high level. We started building and acquiring best-of-breed drafting tools with a vision of a single ribbon and more intelligent capabilities for how lawyers draft, review, and publish documents. And after that, we started to transition into workflows. And we were one of the early to embrace the power of AI, especially with our investment of Kira. And then we wanted to really begin meeting lawyers where they are. And so you saw us bring in tools like Kira and also Doxly and Workshare. From there, we began to continue to grow into firm performance. So this is about serving kind of the business of law, if we can still say that. And so flagship tools like Foundation, which offers powerful and connected views of client and matter data, were a spark for our expansion into tools that are not only just for lawyers, but for partners too, and other key personas like pricing, finance, business development, marketing, and IT. And we see a lot of overlap between the data and the personas and users and leaders across law firms, both in drafting and on the business side. And so we aspire to build and connect solutions that really do return time, back to the lawyer, so they can make that impact that we said we're so passionate about, that's all about Litera's purpose for their clients and for their firms, because we believe that's what sets one firm apart from another. And now, with everything happening in the generative AI space, we see that kind of everything we've done with aggregating that content, starting to aggregate that data, and when we look at where the legal profession is going, we believe we've positioned us well to help our customers springboard into leveraging emerging technologies like generative AI, but in a legal and law firm specific manner. Now, the one thing I want to acknowledge is all of that investment in change did create a lot of complexity for us operationally, and even a lack of clarity for our customers. And so when I think about, well, what's that next question I always get, and kind of looking back over the last few quarters, customers and other people in the industry have said, can you help me understand your acquisition strategy? And so over the last year, we've taken the executive team in partnership with other advocates in the community. We've taken a lot of time to think about and to kind of dig into Litera's brand and how we organize our product portfolio as a whole. Because traditionally, we've come to firms like many of you and customers, and we've talked about ourselves from the perspective of our internal org, our lines of business. And that didn't really resonate. And as I mentioned, it's created a lot of confusion, and you can kind of see that here with the distinct brands. And so we've reoriented our portfolio into the framework of a firm's needs, so the customer's needs. And so we're trying to be more clear and motivating and have a compelling message that aligns to our purpose and our vision for how our solutions help with legal work, for firm intelligence, and for firm performance, and where we serve specific user types, personas, or leaders, including staff who depend on our products each and every day. And we're spending a lot of time getting feedback too. And Sherry mentioned one of the things we're passionate about, and I'm sure Chris brought this up in her last speech too, is how do we stay engaged, right? And how can you get engaged, stay engaged, and give feedback? And so while we're rolling out this new revised branding concept, we're spending a lot of time getting getting feedback from customers on how this updated orientation is resonating. And I would love feedback from this community as well, which we can take offline in one-on-one conversations. It's also important that the market and our customers understand how we strive to serve them, because we see our products as really critical and crucial at every stage of the matter lifecycle. So from the start of an opportunity to the final post-matter review, we are and want to be involved. And so we're really passionate about serving many facets of users across the firm. And so when we look at this next image, this is another view of how we think about and acknowledge all of the operating elements of a firm and where our products show up and serve, and how we care about and understand our customers' tech stack, because we know we're not the only products that firms use, and we have to nestle in. And so as we click a bit deeper, we acknowledge that legal tech is a wide ecosystem. It's actually a really crowded, wide ecosystem, and that our products have been designed to fit into a firm's existing tech stack so that the data, the workflows, and the teams can be connected in their work where it matters most, with increasing visibility and ultimately increased results and impact. So now I'd love to shift, kind of after that introduction, a little bit into our product commitments and priorities, because I think this is really what people are interested in. And it's also where our work meets your needs and the needs of our customers. So earlier I shared that our commitment to you is an optimized customer experience, that we deliver on product, and that we're intentional about M&A. And so I want to shift a bit deeper into our commitment regarding delivering on product. And when it comes to delivering on product, we're deeply committed to three things: quality and value, clear product strategy and development themes, and compelling and purposeful integrations. It's across these areas that we're organizing and driving all of our transformation that I'll talk about here in a minute. Really with that eye, again, back to what our customers need and the impact that they're trying to make. So when we think about quality, this really is about best practice quality standards and specific KPIs for release health. And this is really, really important because security, quality is first and foremost. I know we talk a lot about enhancements and features, but this is really the non-negotiable that needs to be taken care of first. It's also things like automation frameworks to ensure we operate securely, effectively, and efficiently. For reliability, proactive monitoring, metrics, and dashboards are integrated into the way that we work. And I want to share with you that across our portfolio, when you think about uptime, our uptime remains on average at 4 nines minus planned maintenance. But we're relentless at continuing to improve this because we recognize that even one outage can be very disruptive for an individual customer. And so over the past couple quarters, we have invested in leaders and infrastructure and tools and processes in this area. It's been really rewarding to see this new team come in and set and execute and achieve a new standard for reliability. Reliability also means we're going to say, or we're going to do what we say we're going to do. And I take this one really personally because it really ties back to our priorities and our commitments and clear communication. That's why predictable on-time delivery to our commitments is critical. And so across the portfolio, I am proud to share that we now consistently deliver the vast majority of our major releases on time and on scheduled. And we're continuing to increase the development sprint completion rates across all of our global teams and the achievement of our release objectives. So that's the goals of what the release was all about and our release health goals. And I have a really high standard for this area. So we've spent a lot of time over the past, probably 2 to 3 quarters, really investing in and implementing tools that help us standardize practices around agile product development, prioritization, and common rhythms like go, no goes and gates for what makes a healthy release. And so if you think back to that slide that I shared that had the timeline of all of the products and all of the really great investments that were purposeful that we brought into the Litera family, you might not be surprised to say behind that, when you think about how we develop software and orchestrate all of our work, we had more than 15 development planning tools when I first joined the organization. So that's one kind of just behind the curtain headwind that we were up against in terms of executing our work as effectively as we wanted to, as efficiently, and with that transparency, right? And I think maybe in the past, that's where some of the reliability might have eroded because frankly, we didn't have a great ubiquitous line of sight to everything we were doing. And so by the end of this quarter, we will have brought the whole company onto one single instance of a development tool, which is really exciting. And so that's going to make sure that we deliver an even higher quality and more transparent and more predictable set of product releases. And we're already, as I mentioned, seeing the benefit of that transformation in terms of the say-do percentage going up, the quality metrics going up, and the teams are having more fun and they're more energized, which is important. And then the third is customer value. And this means we are here for the legal industry and for our customers. We want to deliver unmatched value. We want to do it better than anybody else. In its simplest forms, we focus on amplifying that lawyer experience, as I mentioned earlier, and helping firms expand their performance. And so I want to spend a little bit of time here talking about our product strategy core pillars and what we're really trying to do in terms of bringing value to market. Our core pillars are building a modern solution set and platforms for scale, reimagining that lawyer experience, as I've talked about, and this is really about tailored workflows and automation, and helping firms be successful. First, I want to talk about what it means to have platforms for scale. We are committed to a cloud-first approach. We believe in making it easy for our technology to embed in your tech stack, as I mentioned, and we want to fit in to all of the investments you make to perform all of the things you need to for your customers. And this means we're focused on bringing open APIs that enable data and workflows to stay connected more seamlessly, but it also means common services like single sign-on that enhance security, interoperability, and really ease of use for customers. We think components like this will allow us to have a scalable infrastructure that ultimately enables us to serve more users in more locations, which is what our customers expect. And I do want to make sure that I emphasize here, this doesn't mean cloud only. It's a cloud first approach because we understand and acknowledge that there's still a preference or even a need for some on-prem deployments, whether it's solutions across drafting or due diligence or matter management. But our focus is on modern scalable tech because that's the foundation that's really going to continue us to enable rapid innovation and rapid release. The second core pillar is that we continue to invest in that lawyer experience, especially across our drafting tools. And also transactional tools like Transact and also solutions like Kira. We want to continue to be the leading provider of intelligent, purpose-built workflows and automation. And this means dedicating experts and resources to understanding our customers' unique needs and solving them, which brings me back to my introduction about our team and the type of quality and experience, diversity and experience that we've brought together. And it's here that I can share a couple product examples. Recently, we've launched the recommendation service for Create in our drafting suite, where users can now search the entire recommendation database to find what they need more easily. And then we also are releasing the Metadact web app for 365, which allows legal professionals to clean metadata either in Outlook Web Access or Outlook for Mac. Again, just as examples of meeting our lawyers where they are. For Litera Transact, we focused on specific feature enhancements over the past few months, like signature block customization, improving the checklist experience, and enhancements to allow personalization of permissions for when we're collaborating with external collaborators. And for Kira, which was already our flagship AI solution, we've launched new machine learning driven document grouping functionality in advance of work we're doing to improve Kira's search and filtering. Again, trying to streamline the most common workflows our users face. And we know lawyers depend on these tools, and we want to be right there with them when they start, spend, and end their day. And we're focused on balance between keeping our core products as healthy and productive and reliable as they can be, while releasing meaningful feature releases and testing and incorporating emerging technologies like generative AI, which I know has been all consuming probably all of our news feeds and all of our conversations at home and at work. And then the third is that we're passionate about helping our customers be as performant as possible. And this is really an exciting area and where you've seen some acquisitions start to come into the Litera family over the last year or so. And this is really about being a partner in our customers' journey to provide the unique and excellent and competitive service that they do to their clients in a way that drives profit, right? Because all of our customers want to be really performant and they want to do it through great client service. And so we continue to leverage Litera's solutions to create capabilities like partner-focused dashboards that show status, pricing, performance, and key metrics that their lawyers are executing or just overall firm performance. And we're hearing more and more from firms that solutions like Foundation are so core to how they operate, sitting right next to their HR and finance systems. So we take our work here really seriously, and we're really passionate about being there on the journey with our customers. And for governance products like Litera CAM, we're enhancing application integrations and reporting and analytics capabilities, including role-based matter management, again, trying to make all those operational elements more performant and more connected. I'm also really excited, there we go, and I want to show you this example. I'm really excited about our new marketing and business development packages to simplify how customers get value from key solutions across knowledge management, marketing, pricing, and more. And as you've witnessed and experienced, a key component of executing our product strategy is M&A and integrations. And this is a really exciting example where we're integrating existing and new Litera solutions in the portfolio. So here you see the combination of Upper Sigma, Foundation, and Concept as our business development solution. Upper Sigma was just added to the Litera family earlier this year, and we already have integrations in place with Foundation and Concept. And we've made possible the transmission of key marketing data between Upper Sigma CRM and Concept, which is the marketing tool. So users can either import contacts from Upper Sigma to Concept, or they can easily log campaign activity and survey responses from Concept to Upper Sigma, just as an example. And I know it is just one example, but I think it's a good representative one that shows how we connect our solutions in meaningful ways for our customers. But again, this is an area where I often get a lot of questions about how are we thinking about our M&A strategy? What are our integration plans, either technically or operationally across our products, and also with the wider legal technology footprint, of products that our firms depend on that aren't ours, and how users can best understand and make sense of our investments and strategies. So it's really important to me that I share with you our plans for how we're going to release more transparently so that customers can engage and give us feedback along the way. And this is an area we're really, really leaning into. And I'm doing a lot of work in partnership with our new Chief Marketing Officer. And Sherry mentioned when we started the call that one of the things we wanted to convey in today's call was, how are we doing a better job of communicating? Because I know that that's been a challenge for Litera in the past. And so one thing I'm excited to share is that coming soon, we're going to be having public biannual product update briefings, which are going to function just as high-level roadmaps to talk about recently released features and enhancements and adoption resources, because that piece is really important, planned roadmap, and upcoming release milestones, and we'll demo and feature spotlights by product. And this is really important. And one of the things I want to make sure you all are aware of is, generally speaking, we plan and develop our products in 2-week sprints, and we update our roadmaps every quarter and sometimes monthly. But a lot of that communication channels one-on-one or in one-to-many small group settings. And we know we need to do a better job of getting the word out. So I'm really excited about this new cadence. And I know it's an area that Litera needs to improve, and we already are, and you're going to see a lot more there. Meanwhile, we're not waiting until then for some big events and web seminars. We've started to provide our customer-facing teams with brand new at-a-glance roadmap summaries to have in hand to not only inform them and keep them up to date on the latest releases, but also to share with customers. And so I'd be happy to share our recent publications of these artifacts with the folks that are on the call today, because I'd really enjoy the feedback and get some a little bit of engagement on, does this help you not only stay up to date on what we think is meaningful that's either already released or going to be released, and or does it help you champion and talk amongst your teams and internal stakeholders about what investments Litera is making, how you can take advantage of them, and how you can give feedback on what's next or what you most need. And so, continuing to speak about feedback, my last few slides are centered around how important this community's feedback is to us, and just how we plan and execute our product strategies today, and how you can get more involved if you feel like you don't have a direct line into my product team. And so I want to come back to this slide. For anybody who was in our last session, Chris talked quite a bit about how critical customer feedback and market feedback is. And we are constantly listening. We have many ways in which we give feedback that drives our roadmap and customers' overall experience. But I wanted to dig back into just a couple that maybe we didn't talk about before, in particular, product advisory groups, and also how we already take a lot of data and input today to prioritize our roadmap. And so on the next slide, I think, there we go. Here, I just wanted to share that as part of our best practice planning rhythms, we do a lot of things to ensure we keep the pulse of the market and our customers. And so it's not only about having the right people on the team, but it's really listening and being humble and being curious about what's going on in the market, how are market trends shifting, what's happening to our profession, what's happening, in our customers' firms, and really listening. And so this is just a sampling, but I wanted to share this with everyone in case people weren't really close to the work. We leverage market studies. We do customer feedback requests and prioritization of customer feedback requests. We do a lot of user interviews, research, and testing. We're actually going to be leaning in here quite a bit more too with Kinjal's leadership on the design and research side of the house. We complete feature prioritization studies. If you haven't been a part of those, we do this in a few product areas and they're really fun. They engage users in options of problems and features that we might develop to solve problems, and you get to kind of stack rank and give your feedback, but those are really cool and they get to be reviewed at a product advisory group. We also plan and prioritize quite a bit across our internal teams. So we want to make sure that all of the people who are interacting with our customers and users every day bring voice and bring learning as your advocates back to the table. So whether that's sales, marketing, customer success, we've got a rhythm, a planning rhythm in place where we all come together and talk about, what's going on, what are we hearing, and we push each other to make sure that we're prioritizing our roadmaps to best meet our customers' needs right now and where we think they're going. And then we leverage activities like journey mapping, discovery, beta programs. We do co-development efforts. And again, just trying to understand and make sure that we've got our finger on the pulse of pervasive problems so that we can address them quickly and ideally better than anyone else. One of those elements that I talked about is product advisory groups. And I kind of wanted to do a commercial here because this is an area where we had a rhythm for product advisory groups, and then they started to take a little bit of a different form, and we had them in some product areas and not others. And so this is something that I'm standardizing at Litera. We already have some in place, and we have a few more that are going to be stood up this quarter and next quarter. So I really wanted to make sure that this community knew that in addition to the executive advisory board and the executive sponsor program and some of those programs that are forming that we've mentioned to this community before, that we do have product advisory groups. We're formalizing how they work, we're formalizing their effectiveness, and we're standing up or kind of reforming some new ones. So if anyone on this call is interested, you can absolutely raise your hand. You can tell your customer success manager, or you can just email success@litera.com and say that you're interested in being part of a product advisory group, and then let us know the product or the focus area, and we can talk about where we are in forming that group or where we are in the rotation of advisors. So I hope that's exciting if you didn't know that those exist. And so with that, I am done with the formal content that I prepared for today. And I hope that that did give you kind of a high level glimpse and view into where we've been, what our portfolio and product journey has been, what we are passionate about, what we are committed to, and where we have been putting a lot of effort and energy into transforming how we develop product, ultimately so that our customers' problems are solved and that we're serving you in all the ways that you need, and that we win and grow together. So thank you for that. And Sherry, I believe that moves us into the Q&A.
It does. And we have a number of questions from the audience. So let me begin with first, you mentioned, and you talked a lot about integrations. And so one of the key integrations everyone's interested in is, what's the current process for managing DMS integrations, with your current product portfolio? And do we have any strategy for the future?
Yeah, great. This is a great question, and might be one too that we could even do some little roundtables on. So, this one's timely, I think, especially with, iManage changes coming. And I know there's often a lot of questions. I get this one a lot too, Sherry, about how Litera prepares for changes that might impact DMS integrations and how do we handle that. So just as a reminder to this group, many of our products are designed to work directly with your DMS. So CAM, for example, which is a provisioning and templating tool for collaboration systems, includes iManage and NetDocuments. It covers all aspects of the customer's use of the DMS. So that exists, and we put a lot of time and money into that. Several of our tools are also embedded in and available through DMS, like the Compare tool and drafting, and then Transact, Foundation, Create, trying to think, all have DMS integration. So the footprint is there. I guess what I would say, just in terms of characterizing how we think about it, we have a good partner relationship with the DMS vendors, particularly NetDocs and iManage, and they let us know when they're making changes, and that gives us the time to kind of plan. And so we, any changes that we would need to prepare for, or any ways that we are creatively wanting to enhance those integrations, is something that we plan and prioritize and put in our backlog, much like other work, because it's critical to how our products interoperate, and it's something that we don't want to break or erode, of course.
Right. Well, thank you. All right. So then, Meredith, one of the comments that you made in the presentation was about measuring the impact of improvements. So how will you know that the changes at Litera are working?
That's a great question. Yeah, so gosh, I feel like I wish I would have brought my dashboard. I might have to bring that to a session in the future. So, across the portfolio, we have what we call North Star metrics for all of our products. And these are standards that our product leaders are accountable for. And it kind of goes down into the organization as well. We have a lot of shared goals that keep us as teams focused on quality, uptime, reliability, value, usage, NPS, right? All of these things that are really important. That would be indicators of customers getting value and the health of the product. So, that's kind of how we organize. And I mentioned some of the stats earlier. So we already see an improvement in our reliability and our uptime. We see, and it's not perfect. I know we have some challenges in some places, and we've had defects here and some performance problems there. And so we're working through that. But in aggregate, all of our key metrics are trending in a good direction. So we talked about uptime. We look at escape defects. I mean, that's really important that we got good code, and that we've got really good release practices. And that's an area where I think I mentioned earlier, we've actually hired talent and we have specific roles around quality engineering, quality testing, release management, R&D operations. All of these are new areas where we've put in more energy and more investment in human capital and tooling over the past few quarters. And we're tracking metrics that tell us, where we're nailing it and where we still have work to do. And then we're also looking at product usage and telemetry. We actually just invested in and implemented a new tool across about 3/4 of our product set that gives our product leaders and our tech leaders even more visibility to how our customers are using the software and where there might be opportunities for us to either get the word out about capabilities that they're not using that we think are really valuable, or where maybe they're not using it in a way that we intended and we've got to go get curious about that functionality. So lots of tooling, a multitude of KPIs and dashboards, and ultimately looking at things like product NPS and overall customer sentiment when you engage with us are all things that we track and monitor and hold our team accountable to.
Awesome. So you did indicate that we are looking at generative AI, that we're being asked by our customers about generative AI. So tell us a little bit more about how we see that implemented with our products.
Yeah, well, you know what? I was not going to take the bet that this question, wouldn't come up.
Yeah, right.
So it's such an exciting time. First off, let me say that, it's everywhere. It's going to be a game changer. It is a game changer. Everyone's trying to figure out what it means, what it doesn't. Is it hype? Is it meaningful? And, I think there are some really interesting things we need to be looking at, and we already are. So first, just as a reminder, because I feel like sometimes maybe we need to be talking a lot more, or maybe, people forget what our footprint already looks like. So Litera does have natural language processing, machine learning, AI, some deep thinking in a multitude of our products. I mentioned Kira earlier, which is a machine learning system that utilizes rules to and algorithms to look at and compare documents and contracts, and we have more trained smart fields or algorithms than anyone else through that tool. So that exists, and there's a lot of strength there. Tools that like Clocktomizer that Litera has, that's a great tool that already has a combination of natural language processing and machine learning to classify bespoke timekeeping narratives and group them for analysis purposes and for pricing purposes. Litera Create already uses natural language processing and machine learning to automate document drafting, and contract comparison uses a rule-based system as well with natural language processing. So I want to just say, not that it's the end all be all, but we have really powerful AI-driven technologies and workflows already in our portfolio. It's something we've been looking at for years and years, and kind of saw this trend of generative AI coming as well. So first, that's a little bit of a level set. Second, we're absolutely testing and piloting right now. We have some really exciting concepts that are in either discovery, pre-development, or development across products like Kira, Litera Create, Litera Compare, Foundation. My team's going to kill me if I forget something. And we're doing discovery programs right now. So actually, one of the things I've been talking to customers about is, what are you doing? What are you already playing with? What are you already building? Or what are you curious about? Or what do you wish somebody would solve for you? So anyone who's kind of really interested or has some momentum, I would love to connect you with our team. And also, we are looking for discovery and early beta customers in a few of the areas that I just mentioned. And we've got working code and we're moving right along. So you should expect to see some press and some releases coming this year. And it's absolutely an area that we're focused on.
Okay, so this one is a little bit also around kind of current products, but from a customer standpoint, the customers want us to make our current, and existing products better. And so the question is there a plan for more M&A this year?
Yeah, so it's a really important question, Sherry. And one of the things that I've spent a lot of time talking to customers about this past year is, don't abandon your core, right? Don't let your focus slip from the products that we depend on. And going back to our promise and our core commitment, I agree. I hear you and I agree. And so last year, if we were doing this session last year, we would have been talking a lot about what we're doing around kind of core investment, ease of use, usability, UX enhancements. We were doing a lot of that last year, and purposeful integrations. And those are still key focus areas as well. We are not going to abandon our core. One, because we take very seriously how important our products are to our customers and to lawyers and associates. And so that's super important. And that's why we're putting so much energy, as I mentioned, transformation-wise, into the way that we work, the tools that we use, industry best practices for infrastructure, architecture, and how we actually work and develop software. We're improving all of the KPIs across our product from kind of a health and value perspective. And we are continuing to lean into solutions across drafting and other products for lawyers. And we're expanding into how we can support and serve firms more holistically. So absolutely, we're not going to abandon that. That is our focus. That said, yes, we're going to keep expanding our portfolio because that's how we believe we build the best set of products for this sector, right? It's a great way to speed value delivery, right? It's a great way to take really great innovation and products that are out there and help them scale, right? I don't really think about it as much from an enterprise perspective, but how do we get solutions that we think are most meaningful and impactful to this sector that we're passionate about in more people's hands, right? And so, we are going to keep growing, our portfolio set through acquisition. I think what I would say is, my commitment and the commitment that is shared across the executive team and with our head of corporate development is that we're going to continue to be very deliberate, very purposeful. We're very picky, and we have a very high standard and process for how we integrate both the people, the operations, the technology. And so we'll keep doing it. And I think we're going to do it better and better every time. And it shouldn't be scary to our customers. It should be seen as value. And I think that's what makes Litera special.
Wonderful. Thank you. So several of our attendees today have asked the question, how they can get engaged in the sort of voice of the customer program, specifically the product advisory group. What can you tell us on that?
Yeah, sure. And I mentioned this earlier, but I think it's just as simple as raising your hand. I mentioned we've got some groups that are already formed, which is great. And so there's opportunity to click right in. A couple others we're going to be standing up later this quarter and in early Q3. So if you know your customer success manager and you've got a working relationship there, just bring it up on your next call and let them know who you might have that's interested and why, what's the product, what's the focus area, and maybe even, what you're passionate about. Are you really eager and interested that we continue to develop that product in a certain way and you've got a lot of, opinions about it? Are there concerns you have and that's why you want to kind of get in and share? All of that's really valuable. So just raise your hand, let your customer success manager know. You can also just email us at success@litera.com. my contact information is readily available as well. And so I would just say, raise your hand. And then what we try to do is make those groups meaningful in terms of diversity of firm, size, location, role. And if we have too many hand raisers, typically what we do is an annual or biannual rotation, depending on the product and how much, kind of how much pace there is in the roadmap. But we are absolutely looking for candidates and very much want to get people with opinions involved.
Wonderful. So Meredith, it's interesting. We have a number of internal folks from Litera on the call today. And apparently earlier today, you gave a presentation to at least one of our teams. Yep. And the attendees today are asking, so what's this I hear about Meredith's superpower? What is it?
Yeah, well, maybe for just a little bit of level setting for our legal folks and our customers on the call, one of the transformations that Sherelle, our CEO, has been bringing to the company, and it's been fully embraced across the globe, it's been so exciting, is a refresh of our core values at Litera. And so there's been a lot of talk this year about what core value you embody and how we show up at work and why, what motivates us, what's so passionate. So just as a little bit of background, that's why this came up on a call earlier. And right now we have a theme around superpowers. And so that's why we were talking about it. So I think, at work, my superpower, I would say, is probably system thinking. I mentioned earlier that I kind of define myself as a reformer, and my whole career has been about, getting involved in problem sets or operational strategies that need a little help, right? And so I shared earlier with the internal team that I think my superpower, everyone can overuse their strengths, Sherry, but I'm very, very curious. And I really think that I kind of see all the bits, right? And I'm naturally mining for potential pinch points, opportunities for improvement. And I think that's why I've been so happy this last decade of my career working in products and building transformational global product leadership teams, is because the thing that I just love to do, that I think I'm great at, is well aligned with what we need out of a product team, right? So I would just say system thinking, always reforming, kind of always looking for opportunity to do better. And when it comes to having that mindset and solving customer problems, it's just fun and rewarding. And we try to do that every day here. And I hope that I'm instilling that in the team.
Well, I think you share your superpower well. So thank you so much for sharing that with everyone here today. I think if you all haven't entered any questions yet, please feel free to do so. Even though we may not be able to cover them before we close today, we will email you the responses and answers. So please input those. And I believe we have actually an announcement of something coming soon and next. With our programming here for the Strategic Business Partner Program. So what I am so excited to share is that we're going to, Meredith, launch a kind of transition webinar series. So as many of you know, we've consolidated our products and we're bringing forth tons of change. And that change, we want to provide you all with some programming and some guidance. We're calling it our transition series set of webinars. So next month on June 14th, so again, the second Wednesday of every month is when we have our opportunity to speak with you through this program. What we're going to do is we're going to host the session that is a transition to Litera Compare. And we're going to give people the technical insights, the gotchas, the customer success stories. It's going to be a great power hour around that topic, because that is a change that everyone will want to anticipate and be ready for. And so we will have the registration posted at that link. It's not there yet, just so you all know, but we're going to email that out so you can register again next month, June 14th. And there will be others in that series. We don't have the dates just yet, though. Wanted to make sure you knew that. So the additional thing we wanted to share, and this was in our session with Chris last month, but these are the contacts. It's kind of like your quick reference guide to getting in touch with us about your current situation and questions and things. So customer care, support at litera.com, very easy. Customer success, general questions, success at litera.com. And that, of course, is also the email where you can raise your hand to take a part in our product advisory groups. And then we've launched the enablement resources on our adoption page. You're going to find videos and guidance and quick reference guides for users, right? Guides for users. So again, check all of those things out. Keep this at hand, and you'll know how to reach us and ask questions. So, do we have any other questions to respond to? Doesn't look so. So, Meredith, I get the privilege of, I had it of introducing you. Now I get the privilege of thanking you so much for the session today. This was wonderful in setting the stage for us all on the changes to come. We really appreciate what you and your team are doing. Thank you. And thank you all for attending.
Yes, thank you, Sherry, and thanks everyone. And I look forward to staying connected with this community and to answering questions and making sure that we're all aligned and excited about what we're doing here together. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yes. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye, everyone.